I'm excited. Another value-packed webinar we're going to have today for 30 minutes. For those of you who don't know me, my name's Ben Hawkey. I'm the CEO and co-founder of a company called Real Growth. We're a New Zealand marketing company that specializes in helping real estate agents build their database. And also, I'm the co-founder of a company called Nurture, which is a simple software tool that helps agents nurture their database and convert more of their leads into listings. So today I'm excited because over the next 30 minutes, we're going to cover how to prospect and build a database, perhaps as a new agent or an agent looking to grow, some common prospecting mistakes many agents make, how to build and strengthen relationships with the homeowners on your database, and then how you can actually just remain top of mind and remain their agent of choice. And then we'll also touch on some technology and some tools that perhaps you can use to help do that. And so there's no better person to join me on this call than and guide us through it than Diego. So Diego, welcome to the webinar.
Thank you for having me, Ben. Let's get into it.
Yep, let's do it. Let's do it. Awesome. So for those of you, there'll be many of you here. We've hit capacity, which is awesome on the number of people, and that's a credit to you, Diego. People wanting to hear what you have to say. For those of you though who might be unfamiliar with you, do you mind sharing a little bit about, I guess, well, actually just a little bit, I'll just say a little bit about you. You know, Diego has been the #1 for Rate My Agent for the last, I think, 3 or 4 years now. #3 for Hardcourts internationally. Last year you spoke at Eric, and you've, I think, got an impressive record of selling 500 homes in the last 24 months, last 2 years. That's correct. So, great person to have on the call. But Diego, before we dive into it, do you mind briefly sharing a bit about your real estate journey today? Yeah, when did you first get started, and when did you start seeing real success?
I started in 2016 when the market was about to start coming down, 17 and 18 being the first down cycle that I've experienced. First of 2, obviously one just finishing now. First year in real estate, look, I started from the bottom up. I didn't know a single person in my market area. I was new to the industry, obviously been a new agent, but really I did not have any friends, family, or anyone that would sort of guide me through it. So I kind of started from the bottom, and listening to podcasts such as $1 Million Agent and a lot of the free resources online. Within 3 years, I was selling 100 houses plus. And 2 years ago, at peak of the market, 2021, sold 303 houses in the year, with a team, of course, around me of 3 admin, including marketing manager, operation manager, PA. And then currently we've got 9 agents plus myself. We did recruit quite a few over the last 6 months. Just realized that it's not all about the numbers, but it's about the quality. Better never stops. Only the mediocre are the best. And I'm always learning, just like everyone else on this session.
Awesome. Hey, thanks, Diego. Do you mind us taking us back to those earlier days? You said the market was tough, or that market was down when you were kind of getting started. What would you say were some of the the most successful prospecting strategies that you implemented in your business, to get started, to get those quick wins on the board?
All right, 2 parts of this question. Let me start with a little story that a manager at the time told me. Manager called Catherine Swin, and she told me this thing that has got stuck in my head. She said, every single prospecting strategy that you can think of, apply it and stick to it until you get a listing out of it. Do not give up because you're not getting any results from a particular strategy until you get a listing out of it. And then you can review it and decide if that strategy is one for you moving forward. Keeping that in mind, I did everything and anything that I possibly could. 101 real estate. We can talk about that in details, but the low-hanging fruit trees that at the time gave me the results quick and allowed me to build a business very fast, where the expired listing, the expiring listings, I was hunting and I was getting my food where other agents couldn't get a deal over the line. So that was my bread and butter in terms of getting paid fast. But of course, every other strategy under the sun was implemented at the same time as well.
What does a strategy look like, just to give people an idea on what does your approach look like in terms of an expired listing or an expiring listing? Are you able to give us a bit of run?
Let's start with expiring listing. Well, how about you as an agent, you send a letter in the mail to anyone that is coming on the market, congratulating them to being on the market, and say something on the lines, it looks like you got it under control. Average days on the market is 6 weeks or whatever that might be. Then you follow it up with a second letter 6 weeks later, say, hey, look, I see that you're still on the market. Current average days on the market has gone down ever so slightly. And then you follow up with a door knock, and the door knock would be, hey, look, I don't want to step on anyone's toes because you're currently under agency agreement. But before you decide to renew your agreement or not, could I have a 15 minutes opportunity to sit down with you and show you how to get the job done within 3 to 4 weeks without spending any more money on marketing? Something around those lines. You're not breaking the RA rules. I've been taken to the REA for this, and the REA say I did nothing wrong. You can have a conversation with a vendor. You just can't sign the listing unless the listing agreement is expired with the previous agent. Then you're looking at expired. Expired, it's well, door knock them and ask them, did you get much luck when you were on the market? Did you get many offers? Of course, they're going to say no, because hey, they haven't sold, right? But then it's how you plant the seed in the head. And if you say you want to list again, want to give it a try, they're probably going to tell you to bugger off. They already spoken to enough agents. So you got to approach it in a different way and say something on the lines of, hey, I see that you've been on the market. Would you be, if you receive a good offer tomorrow, would you consider it? You see, that plants the seed for then you to be able to do follow-ups. A lot of agents make the mistake to just ask for the business when they've got zero right to ask for the business.
If you would receive a good offer tomorrow, would you consider it? That's the line, is that right?
That is the line that made me hundreds of thousands of dollars. Because most times they would consider it because they could not sell the house. Sometimes they change their mind, they change their circumstances change, but in most cases, yes, they would consider it. So it's up to you how you follow it up and how, in what way you follow up as well. It's not just like, hey, what do you think of what I said yesterday? No, and for this, we could spend an hour talking about it, but you plant the seed in the right way, and then you water the plant enough, eventually, a little fruit will come out of it, and the fruit is going to be yours to eat in.
So what other that makes complete sense, and you and I have talked about this in depth on the exact strategies, exactly what to say, and we don't have time in our 30 minutes today to talk about everything. But what other things have you been doing in your business from a prospecting point of view? Perhaps now that you've become probably lucky enough now to probably attract a bit more business and become a bit of an attraction agent. What are some of maybe the higher hanging fruit that they're not going to get? It's they're not quick wins, but it's something that every agent should be doing in order to build the pipeline.
There are three things, I suppose, if I categorize them, three things that I do. One, it's, and again, I can only say the words and can't really talk about it because we don't have enough time. It's social media. There's an expression that some people say, you can't spray and pray. Now, I've been spraying and I've been praying for a long time, and my prayers have come true because I saturate the market when it comes to social media. With content, with paid ads, of course, and I've been working with yourself for 4.5 years, and I don't, I'm going to be working with you until I stop working because you are very good at what you do. For what it counts, it's so the paid portion of social media as well as the content portion of social media needs to be there. Content, you can talk about this for hours as well. It could be as simple as a single piece of some statistics or I did a piece of content this morning that was around the water. Now, Ben, did you know that the water in Auckland and in New Zealand, you actually don't pay for it? I didn't know, so I did a little reel saying actually you're paying for there's a word and I forgot. You pay for the water to be cleaned and to be disposed, but the water is actually free. I didn't know, so I recorded a 15-second reel, sent it to my social media lady, and she's going to post it out everywhere. Content can be anything. So you put out content, you have some paid ads and paid marketing to sort of back it up and create the funnel, and that's probably the biggest chunk of how I get my exposure. So social media. Then you're looking at the bread and butter, and I'm talking bread and butter real estate. Just listed, just sold, do 1,000 for each. You sell 20 properties in a month, that's 40,000 flyers going out. And yes, it's $4,000, but hey, if you sell 20 properties, you can afford to do $4,000 of flyering. Now there's saturation. Then my team will go out and don't knock around the just sold. So I'm talking about bread and butter here, right? I don't have to explain this because anyone that has been in real estate and watching this, they know what that kind of is. And the third portion is what I do myself. And I actually only do one thing, and I'm sure we're going to talk about it soon, is the Nurture app. And that's the only thing that I actually spend time during the week to prospect. I don't do anything else. So it's direct text messaging from my phone number to my database. And we can give some examples in a bit. So social media, 101 real estate, and Nurture app. Nurture app saved my life. And that's basically the only thing I do, prospecting wise.
I love from the social media point of view, a term that I've heard recently was you're winning mind share, right? You're becoming top of mind and winning mind share purely through just pure exposure of you, your brand through social media. So those little videos that you're doing, I'm sure 3 or 4 years ago, you might have thought, is this going to work? But now you're seeing the fruits of all of this effort, all of this video content that you're pumping out. What type of reactions are you getting? When you talk to people, are they like, hey, I've been watching you for a while, like I've been seeing your videos, like what type of feedback? Because you must be getting some feedback some positive feedback from the market that what you're doing on social is working. Would that be
good question. I signed a listing not long ago, and a young couple, and he said, I've been watching your videos on TikTok. No, I don't even have TikTok on my phone. I think I do, but I don't use it. And it was quite surprised to actually have someone saying that. Then I actually missed out on another listing, and the lady said, I love watching. She said, sorry, I signed with another agent, but by the way, I'll keep watching you on TikTok. So I was like, okay, great. But you get an exposure, and I now spend a lot of money, and if you go on my Instagram and give me a follow, you'll see that there are two types of videos. That the polished one, and they're the ones like the one I'm going to post up today around the fact that water is free in Auckland. There are two types of videos. One of them is done on my phone without a camera, without a lights, without a light, without a microphone, and I just put some subcaps on it. And the other ones are sent to the Philippines to be edited, and they look polished. I put a lot of content out, maybe somewhere between 30 to 50 videos a month. And the reality is that between TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, LinkedIn, and a few other bits and bobs, they get sometime upwards of 200,000 views a month across the whole social media. So, and that's someone that sells a lot of properties, been doing it for a long time. And I'm quite fluent on camera because of practice. That's it. If you watch one of my videos, any one of you try to find one of my videos from 8 years ago, first of all, you won't be able to find them because I deleted them because they were cringeworthy. But those videos allow me to be confident and not having too much stop, start, and that kind of unprofessional looking video creator that you can be if you don't have the skills. But if you don't practice, you're not going to get the skills.
100%. And I even noticed you got a teleprompter now. Is that right? That must have really saved you some time. It's probably a well worth investment. How do
you know that? Because the last video I sent you, I actually followed the script.
Yeah, exactly. It was word for word, perfect.
Yeah, exactly that. Teleprompter, I only installed it that day because I tried it 3 times and the words weren't coming out. And my brother said, try teleprompter, and that's how I got you a video on time, on script.
Right. I am conscious of the time. I know we've only got half an hour, but you've seen people come and go in real estate. Diego, you've seen people join your team, leave your team, people come into your office, leave the office. What would you say are some of the most common prospecting mistakes that agents seem to be making out there right now?
You see, Ben, there is no such a thing as a prospecting mistake. If you're prospecting and you're not doing it right, you evolve, you learn, and you get better. The mistake comes before the prospecting and not doing the prospecting. Or talk about database, having a database and doing what Patty shot at, which is 0, and they don't do anything with it, they do very little with it. So that's lost data opportunity because it's just sitting there. But the biggest mistake that people do is that I sit down with them, I tell them what to do, I'll come up with a plan, put it in the calendar, calendarize the door knock, calendarize this and that, bread and butter, 101 real estate. And then 2 weeks down the line, it's like, what have you done? I've only done knock 1 time out of 10 in the last 2 weeks. Okay, that is the mistake. You're lazy, you're not driven, and you don't understand the opportunities that this industry will be able to give you because it opened doors that I did not know existed. It opened doors that I did not know existed. And that's because I put the work. The mistake that people do, they don't put the work and they just see more successful agents that perhaps don't have to door knock 5 times a week and all of that. And they think that just by doing a little bit, they still get that. No, you're not going to get that, or you will take a very long time and you'll be a mediocre agent for the rest of your life unless you put the work. Thank God I don't have to door knock. I do it once every 2 weeks with the team to bring the morale up. But the reality is that after almost 5 years in real estate, I stopped door knocking Monday to Friday 5 times a week. But it took me 5 years. And at the time I was making a lot of money. I was driving a nice car. I had a nice house. I was still door knocking because I wanted more. That's the problem.
A very similar answer that to what Johnny Nichols, another agent, Harcourt's agent down in Christchurch, said. It was the same thing. It was just people aren't disciplined. People aren't consistent. Discipline and consistency was something that comes up a lot. Before we move on to talking about nurture but I saw a stat and we talked about it on a previous webinar that. And I don't know how accurate it is, but it said 6% of homeowners on an agent's database will sell within the next 12 months. Now, I don't know if you agree with that, Diego. Even if it's 4%, even if it's slightly higher, there are opportunities sitting in an agent's database right now who will sell within the next 12 months. There's opportunities there. So I'm keen to understand a little bit more about, okay, what are you doing in your business that is building and nurturing the relationships with the people on your database. So when they decide to sell, you are the person they think of. You come to mind.
Okay. There are 4 points of contact, potentially 5 that you can do. And by the way, I call a database someone that first things first, you got full data sets. So name, address, phone number, email address. You got to have it all. If my database is not big, I've got 1,800 people, but it's clean data and they're all potential vendors. Now, you got the address, send them something in the mail. I mean, at the end of the day, if you've got 200 people in your database, it's only going to cost you $200-300 to send a letter. If you don't do it every month, do it every 2 months. But ideally, I did it every month for about 4.5 years until it got into the 1,000 and postage went up and up and up. Now I do it once a quarter. Nevertheless, you got send them something in the mail. Just don't spend too much time, just some sales data around Auckland or the suburb. 2, you got an email. So you could decide to use MailChimp and one of those, spray and pray, or you could be doing something a little bit more targeted and get your PI or do it yourself if you got the time to email one by one. Again, one by one from your email address to the person. Hi, Ben, here's what happened in our suburb last month with the lowest sale average price, whatever that might be. To get the data from Rains doesn't take long to put it all together. My PA would probably spend a day and a half, and it does 1,800 of them once it's got all the data together. So very powerful. Now, of course, you want to target them on social media with yourself. Ideally, put the phone number and email address, log them up. You know how to do that. I can't really explain it too well. So that's another point of contact. Then you got the phone number. Now, with the phone number, there's 2 things you can do: calling or texting. My mooring line, and if you don't know what mooring line is, it's basically a preconceived idea that something is not going to work. My mooring line is that people hate my English, they hate my accent. So I never called, or not as much as other agents do. So I transitioned to sending text messages only. And 8 years in real estate now, I still don't make any phone calls. I just text people. But that's what you do with a database: email, letter, text or phone number, and then social media. So that's 4 points of contact. Now imagine doing that every month on 100 people in your database. Those people in a year, they would be contacted. What is that? I'm very bad at math. So it's four for each, 400. So that's almost 5,000 points of contacts for 100 people throughout the year. Now, some people will ask you to take you off the database. Most people won't, because you give them valuable information. That's how you nurture a database.
I think that's important to say, because I think there'll be some people about to comment and say, well, won't people be upset? And so I guess you're saying is, as long as you're adding value, not being pushy, not asking for anything in return, this is what you're trying to be doing. So for yourself, add value. Yeah, cool, sweet. Well, I was just I don't know what I've done there. Diego, I was wondering whether you could show us a little bit more about the text message side of things of the business. So what are you doing from a text message point of view to nurture the database? Just so people can get a gauge on, what does a text message sound like? How does that work? Et cetera.
Okay. So here is what the nurture, and by the way, again, just at the risk of repeating myself, this is the only prospecting I do. For everyone watching, I don't do anything else. I don't make phone calls. I have my database loaded to nurture, and where over here you can find all the property that recently sold. And you can see the opportunities in my database for me to be able to message them. Okay. So this is the property I actually sold myself. And these are people in my database. So as you can see, I can click someone's name and send them a text message coming from my phone number, from my phone number with the 2 clicks, literally 2 clicks. Look at this. Now, I'll tell you what's in the message in a second and all of that. But as you can see, and it tells you as well the last time I messaged them, so that if I message them too soon from now, I can, not do it again. So it's three clicks for me to send them a message. Now, as you can see, those are all of my leads within 400 square meter radius of the property that just sold. Okay. And what happened there? Anyway. And these are all the people that I can message. So now this one I already messaged on Wednesday. The good thing about this, as you can see, is that I can actually, as you see from this side, I can actually see the communication that I've sent them and all the replies that they had. So this person over here, I messaged her for quite a while, and I sent her a couple of different recent sales that happened. As you can see, it's addressed to the names, it's got the property address that's sold, what it's sold for, how many bedrooms, and I can customize the end. So I probably shouldn't say this. Anyway, I was doing a training for my license last week, and I spent 2 days in the classroom. Throughout those 2 days, I probably sent about 350 messages. Now, I run out of people to message in the end because I message people every week. The point of this is that it takes you 2 minutes to actually send 10, 15 text messages. And it's so powerful, so powerful.
Yeah, good. Yeah, thanks so much. And thanks for showing us, how it works. But really, it looks like that you're just leading with value. You're just saying, hey, Abby, just want to let you know about X, Y, and Z sale. This is recently sold near you. I know you're not looking to sell. Just thought I'd keep you updated on what's going on in the market. Something along the lines of like.
The only thing the potential vendors want to know is what is the house worth? So you can't give them an update every 2 weeks because you can't, right? So the only meaningful thing that they want to hear from you is what sold something around the area, because that will dictate what the property is worth. But as well, they've probably driven by the property. They've seen the signboard. They, of course, want to know what the property sold because they own a property down the road. So it couldn't be any more meaningful for you to let them know what something sold in the area. But here's the kicker, Ben. And we've been talking about this app for a long time because, I've told you a long time ago that this is something I needed. And obviously you came up with this idea, which is brilliant. I can do the one by one text messages. I can do them myself, but I need to go on Property Smart, put a property address in, put a radius, see what recently sold, then copy paste it, go on the text messages, send it to them. So it'll take about 45 seconds for me to send one individual if I to do it myself. It takes me 3 seconds to do it through yours. That's why that's the only prospecting I do. And until you came up with this app, I stopped prospecting completely. I didn't have enough time, and I was in a position that I didn't really have to. Now, even if I don't have to, I like to do that because it takes me 3 seconds and I'm relevant.
Yeah. Yeah. And so why do you still do it? Why is there a reason? Just because you have got full control over it?
Because,
you could potentially give it to someone else to do, get your PA or someone to do it. So why do you decide to do it? Do you just like to keep your finger on the pulse on what's going on?
Because there's a conversation, I can see the conversation because these are my vendors or my potential future vendors. So I can see who replied. I can see if they reply something that maybe prompts me not to send them a message this month. I can actually feel it better. And the reason why I do this, although I don't need to, is because I hate losing listings because perhaps I didn't service them in my database as well as I could. And I'm here telling you, you got to send them a letter, you got to do social media, you got to send them an email, you got to call them or text messaging. But if I didn't do this, I'll basically only be doing 3 out of 4.
Yeah.
And now I am preaching and I'm doing what I'm preaching.
It's good to hear that from for everyone else on the call, saying someone with like Diego who's extremely busy is still prospecting and doing this. So I appreciate your time, Diego. I know you've got to disappear. Is there anything else like you'd want to, I don't know, like what type of feedback are you getting from people? Are people responding? Like what type of feedback are you getting people when you're using this app just before you go?
It's funny because I obviously knew that I was doing this today, and I was trying to remember a couple of weeks ago, I did, send out a good 50, 60 messages as I had a bit of time free, and I had a reply straight away. And I went to see the people the same evening, and I signed the listing the day after, and out of 100 messages, I maybe get 10, 15 replies. Here's the biggest thing. Keep this in mind, guys, regardless of what strategy we're talking about here, but we're talking about nurture now. It's not a failure if they don't reply. I could show you messages that I've sent 30, 40, 50 price updates about a property that isn't, so they did not reply once. For me, that's a success because they're not asking to unsubscribe. They're just taking it. But for the few ones that they say, hey, come and see me, well, guess what? If I didn't do the text message, they wouldn't have asked me to come and see them because probably was on the mind to talk to an agent, and they might have forgot that I'm one of them. And all of a sudden, I'm in there and I signed the listing. So, that was just a couple of weeks ago. I wish I could remember where it was so I could show you. But of course, you believe me that I say this. It doesn't happen all the time. It's just like every other prospecting. You spray and you pray. But here, you're spraying a very targeted vendor that that potentially are looking to sell a house, and your prayers are going to be answered much shorter than if you just door knock a whole street of houses or just put 1,000 flies in letterboxes. Then you get zero. With this, you're going to get something and it's going to be meaningful. And if you get nothing, you still get something because people are listening to you putting information out.
Yeah, I appreciate it. And thanks for the example and the case study, because I think people want to know, does it actually work? Because the reality is it's not a magic bullet. It's something that you have to do consistently and regularly. And, you might have sent a message 4 or 5 times to someone over the last 6 months, and then they might reply, right? And that's still a win for you because you're staying top of mind.
Correct. So my departing words, and thank you for keeping on time. Today's been a crazy day. My departing words is, I don't even know how much I'm paying you for nurture. I actually think that it's worth probably even more than what you're charging people. I mean, if you value, as I'm talking to you as an agent, if you value your time, which you bloody should, and you want to save time by being more meaningful, I personally don't think there is a better tool in the industry that is direct, relevant, and to the point than nurture. So hopefully I get my free month out of doing this, Ben. But hey, I appreciate your time as well. And till next time. Eh?
Thanks, Diego. I appreciate it. Thanks for those last 2 final words. But good day. I'll continue running this for everyone else who wants to ask any questions. But thanks, Diego.
Thank you. Bye, Ben. Bye, everybody. Ciao.
Wait. Awesome. Well, that was some very nice kind words from Diego, and I hope you got a lot of value out of what Diego had to share. Talks extremely fast, and so there is going to be a recording that will go out. You can maybe watch it in slow motion so you can hear what he has to say again. But if anyone's interested in actually trialing out Nurture, what Diego just showed you, we're offering a webinar special for everyone on this webinar today. Basically, in a nutshell, just to summarize to you again what Nurture does, because I know Diego is clicking and firing messages off extremely fast. But basically, what Nurture does is it allows you to send personalized text messages from your own cell phone number about recent sales and listings that are happening in your area. Right, so it's coming from your own phone number directly to that person. Right, it's very simple. It's, as you would have seen, it takes only a few seconds to send a message, and it just allows you as an agent to nurture and stay in touch with people on your database. So, like Diego said as well, it is, I'll just skip ahead of one more. It is probably slightly underpriced at the moment, but at the moment we've still got it relatively affordable. It's $99 every quarter, so $99 every 3 months. But we're offering a 30-day free trial where you guys can trial it completely free. Try it for 30 days. If you don't like it, you can cancel and you don't have to pay anything. So there's an opportunity for you. I can email out to you a link, or you can scan the QR code on this next slide. But what you're going to get is 30 days completely free where you can trial Nurture. What's going to happen is you can upload your database into Nurture, and it's going to automatically identify all the recent sales that are relevant to the people on your database. And then you're going to be able to send text messages to those people from your own cell phone number. I did a training with Diego earlier on in the year. It's fully recorded, but in a 1.5 hour training session, we broke it down into little modules. And so I'm offering that digital training completely free as well. So for everyone who signs up within the next 48 hours after this webinar, also will get the attraction agent training. That's Diego and myself, 1.5 hours, breaking down everything that he did to prospect and grow his business, and how he's become, how he's got to where he is today. We also offer a guarantee as well, that if you don't book at least one genuine listing appointment, we'll give you your money back. So it's a 12-month guarantee. Basically, you need to use, though, the T's and C's on that are, you need to use Nurture every week. You want to communicate with people on your database at least once every 2 months. They need to hear from you. But if you can do that consistently for 12 months and you don't get at least one listing appointment, we'll give you a full refund. Because I know, hand on heart, with the agents that we work with who use Nurture, they are getting appraisals, they are getting listing appointments, but it's about being consistent and it's about doing it regularly. So we do offer that guarantee there as well. So if you would like to sign up, you feel free to scan the QR code. Otherwise, you can give me an email or a text message, 021 040 4347. Otherwise, yep, you're going to receive an email from me straight after this with information on how you can sign up to Nurture completely free. Just got a few questions here. Does this work from Windows laptop to Apple iPhone? That's a good question. To use Nurture, the most effective way is to just use it from your phone. So you log into Nurture from your Chrome, from your iPhone, and send it directly from there. However, if you have an Apple computer and an iPhone, and you've connected iMessage, like Diego did, like you saw with him, you can send it from your computer. But if you've got a Windows laptop and an Apple iPhone, it's best to just use your phone and send them directly from your phone. So that's a really good question. Teleprompter, I'll have to have a Google. But yeah, there's so many teleprompters out there, really affordable as well. Any other questions? We've got people here on the call still, so just fire me through any questions in regards to Nurture, and I can answer them here on the call. But other than that, thank you so much for your time. Really appreciate it. Hope you got a lot of value out of today's call. Like I said, I'll send you out an email in the next 5-10 minutes with a link so you can give Nurture a free trial. Thanks so much, guys. Looks like there's no more questions coming through. So have a great day, and we'll talk to you later. Cheers. Bye.